Welcome to the continent of Carpathia. It is a homebrewed fantasy world that I have run ever since my junior high. It is a land of fantasy that is heavily influenced by Dragonlance, Lord of the Rings, Marvel Comics, Game of Thrones, The Witcher, and even some anime like Overlord and Attack on Titan. You do not need to know every single detail about all the adventures and campaigns that I have run in this world over the last 30 years. So instead, this video is intended as a highlight reel and brief history to the world to get you on started on your newest campaign. Very similar to Tolkien's Middle-earth, the continent of Carpathia has gone through 3 ages. The first age was my junior high and high school campaign. You will hardly recognize the map, but some of the names have carried over. The biggest thing that you need to know about the first age is that the humans came to the continent and explored a vast wilderness ruled by evil creatures. The 5 players in that campaign freed the land of evil tyranny by defeating the demon king Nonag and established the country of Trillian. At the end of the campaign, the player characters ascended to a godlike status and became the pantheon of gods of the Second Age, also known as the Old Gods in the current age. The Second Age began with my college friends. Here you will see a map that looks more familiar. My college campaign stretched across the entire continent, and in the northwest corner was the area of land that encompassed your last campaign, the Kingdom of Ingraness, which you are familiar with. And as you will see from the various maps, that was the Kingdom of Ingraness. That is where the Tales of the Yawning Portal campaign happened. You might recognize this map. That was that area. And our current campaign will actually encompass more of the eastern coastline and edge of this particular continent. So the most defining event of the Second Age was known as the War of the Stones. Ancient evil dragons and their draconian armies, with the help of the archwizard Nethril, conquered much of the continent in an attempt to gather all of the dragon stones, which were legendary artifacts. An alliance of humans, dwarves, and elves eventually defeated these dragon armies at the Battle of Two Tarask, which gets its name from the actual Tarasks that were summoned by the dragon armies during this battle. The player character Nero broke the 2 major artifact staffs that he had against each other, releasing their energy in what can only be described as a nuclear explosion, killing the Tarasks and much of the dragon armies, and ending the war for good. From the carcasses of the Tarasks, organ hunters and treasure hunters came, and the town of Two Tarask sprang up around it. In the Third Age, the city of Two Tarask is the biggest city on the continent. Right here where it says Hell Gate and Castle Shodan, that was the location of the Battle of Two Tarask in the Second Age. And if you look at the updated maps, here on an older updated map is the city of Two Tarask. And here on our current map is the city of Two Tarask. It's right at the edge of this mountain range. There is a dwarven stronghold and castle in the mountains. The city sprang up around it. Literally, the 2 Tarasks were blown away from each other. The 2 heads fell, the bodies fell. The 2 heads of the Tarasks, the skulls, actually make up the west and the east gates of Two Tarask to this day, and the city all around it. Otherwise, most of the organs and bones and skin and everything else has been cut from the Tarasks, but it is now a major metropolitan and trading center. The Festival of the Five is an annual celebration of the victory at Two Tarask and the end of the War of the Stones. Each year, on the same 5 days in a row, 5 comets fly across the night sky, one on each night. The comets are all a different color, and a favorite pastime is betting on the order in which they will come, as they come in a different order each year. One year it might be red, white, blue, green, purple. The next year it might be purple, green, red, white. It's different every year. Some say that the comets represent the 5 old gods. Others say that the comets represent the 5 player characters that were killed at the Battle of Tugtarask. In any case, that celebration lasts to this day. With the end of the War of the Stones came the Third Age. The old pantheon of gods from the First Age ceased to exist after the Battle of Tugtarask, and a new pantheon of gods, the Dragonlance pantheon of gods, filled that void upon the old 5 gods leaving. Those gods are now called the old gods, and the Dragonlance pantheon is now the current pantheon of gods. This is the age in which you will be playing your campaign. The year is 702 3A, or Third Age, and the mighty kingdom of Trillian has fallen upon hard times and is a shadow of its former glory. At one time, Trelwyn, which is the capital of the continent of the country of Trillian, all its borders extended all the way out to Tugtarask, Radek. Everything here was the country of Trillian, and nowadays the country of Trillian basically is Trelwyn, existence, and coal. It's just the coastline here. So the reason for this fall from grace has mostly been caused by the spirit of the arch-wizard Nethril occupying his former town of El Pueblo, which on this map you'll see here, which is now represented by the lifeless citadel. And he became an arch-lich. Nethril's armies have ravaged the surrounding area for hundreds of years, thus creating a bone wastes, which is nothing but dead land. Nothing grows here. It is basically a desert without the heat, and it is just filled with skeletons, zombies, and all other types of undead. The farming communities of Existence and Defiance lie on the edge of the bone wastes. Existence bent the knee to Nethril and was allowed to exist if they offer a sacrifice to Nethril each year to become part of his undead army. The town of Defiance revolted against Nethril's rule, and the Lich killed them all and turned them into undead. These undead now are forced to live a mock life today. The skeletons and zombies still farm the land and make goods to trade, totally unaware that they are now undead. It is literally an undead town, which acts like nothing wrong has happened. The only other really notable locations other than Tugtarask is that of Nero's academy. Before Nero died at the Battle of Tugtarask, he and his elven friend Quallen Evermore established a wizard's tower as a base of operations. After Nero's death, Quallen Evermore turned the tower into a magic academy. To this day, Nero's Academy has become the most prestigious place of learning for all young wizards, and would be similar to Hogwarts or Harvard in terms of prestige. So, a last few bits of information before I close. The Jeranost Forest is home to the Jeranesti Elves, as you can tell, influenced by Dragonance, Sylvanesti, Qualinesti. These are the Jeranesti Elves. These elves are very xenophobic, and they rarely allow outsiders into the forest. If you are an elf or a half-elf of Carpathia, your bloodline can be traced back to the Jeranost Forest. Those elves who reject the xenophobic way of life are the elves that you will find living in any of the other cities or towns across Carpathia. The Hollow Hills is the home to the gnomes and halflings of Carpathia. If you are a gnome or a halfling, this is likely where you came from. It is basically the Shire from the Lord of the Rings. Zarum is the pirate kingdom, and it has no laws whatsoever. You will find every race and creed and alignment. It is ruled by the pirate king, but there really is no laws. It is the Deadwood of Carpathia. The Quicksloth jungle is home to the lizard folk, save for the city of Alukaloo, which is a mixed-race city on the coast of the jungle, very similar to Port Nyanzaru from the Forgotten Realms. So, and then the Fields of Sky is what would be considered the breadbasket of Carpathia. It's all wheat farmland, and that the farming communities have sprung up around it. All around this area are tiny little farming communities, but the towns of Pendle, Meyerfield, Existence are some of the bigger and major names around there. So thank you for taking the time to listen to me ramble about my homebrew world. I hope you enjoy the upcoming campaign, and once again, thanks for watching.